Ruslan.
So, career. This was the process of me building a multiple six-figure career over the course of decades. Okay, and by the way, a lot of this is going to be over the course of decades. The very first thing that I recommend everybody do is reducing overhead. I would call this my Dave Ramsey phase. Okay, reducing your overhead. Society is intended and designed in many ways to get you spending as much money as you possibly can, okay? They want you to marry later in life so that you want your own apartment and to live the adolescent bachelor life. They want you going to college so you could take out student loans. They want you to go to college so you need to burn off some steam at the spring breaks and go travel more and spend more money on drinks. They want to extend adolescence so that you can go to the club and spend exorbitant amounts on alcohol. They want you to live above your means. The average American is living paycheck to paycheck. That is a fact. I don't want you to be average. I refuse to be average. But the average person is living paycheck to paycheck. So the first step in all of this is we first got to reduce our overhead. You first got to mitigate your overhead. Okay? So for me, this looked like paying off all of our debt in 18 months. We got $45,000 of debt. We knocked it all out in 18 months. It was the greatest thing we've ever done, following the Dave Ramsey baby step principle. This isn't an endorsement of everything that Dave Ramsey teaches or has said or whatever, but mitigating our overhead helped us out tremendously in so many ways. And this is what I mean. If you think about all of the debt that you have, whether it's student loans, car notes, credit cards, so on and so forth, reducing that overhead allows you more flexibility and more risk and more margin. So our overhead, when we first started dating with all of our student loans and all of our shenanigans, our brand new cars, all that nonsense, was like $3,500 to $4,000 a month. Okay, as 23, 24-year-old, we're living in Southern California. It's pretty expensive. After we paid off all of our debt and completely eliminated it, our overhead then dropped down to like $2,300, $2,400 a month. Which means that by the time I was able to go full-time with music, guess what? Getting to $2,300 every month, it was an easier goal to shoot for than getting to $4,000 every month. Because my goal for me was to become an entrepreneur, to become a creative entrepreneur. Initially, it was with music. So the step one in all this is reducing your overhead. Now, let me give you guys some practical things on what you could do to reduce your overhead. Obviously, you want to do the baby steps by Dave Ramsey, a debt snowball, where you start with your smallest debts and you snowball it into your largest debts, getting on a monthly written budget, cutting out everything that's non-essential to you completely out of your life for a season. We're not talking about indefinitely. We're talking about for a season. You live like no one else, so later you get to live and give like no one else. And so we didn't go out a ton. We didn't do any vacations. We didn't travel. We didn't go out to eat all the time. We lived a very simple lifestyle and hunkered down, hunkered down for 18 months, and we paid out $45,000 of debt as just working Joe jobs. So reducing your overhead. Here's another tip for reducing your overhead. If you house hack, if you live with people, live with roommates, right? You can reduce your rent expenses in a lot of ways, your housing expenses, your electricity expenses, right? So everybody's wanting their own place, but you having your own place is shelling out tons of money. So there's another one of the benefits of us being married early is because we mitigated our housing expenses because there was two people living in one unit instead of each person having separate units, right? So reducing your overhead, I think, to me, is extremely helpful. Let's talk about step number 2, stability to create. You have to create stability so that you can create. You have to create stability so that you can create. If your life is chaotic, if your home life is chaotic, if your income is chaotic, if you getting a flat tire creates chaos, right? Chaos does not breed creativity. Chaos does not breed stability. Chaos does not breed someone that could flourish on this side of eternity. So you need the stability so that you could build something and create something. Some of you guys are in unstable friendships. Some of you guys are in unstable relationships. Some of you guys are at unstable jobs. Some of you guys are at unstable churches. You have to create some degree of stability for your life, which is going to go right along with reducing your overhead, so that you can then project and move forward and create something of value. In my life, there was people I had to eliminate. There was boundaries I had to set with family members. There's certain people that I just couldn't engage in some of their shenanigans and some of their nonsense. I had to create stability. Hey, this is what we're doing. We're going through this debt-free journey. Don't ask us for money. We don't have any money to give you right now. Don't ask to borrow money. We don't have money to give you. Do not ask. So we had to create a degree of stability, and it was crucial. And then developing scarce skills, scarce high value skills. What am I talking about? Listen, anybody who's of able body can clean. They can do a cleaning job. Okay? Anybody who has 2 hands, 2 feet that work, they can go clean. Okay? So guess what? The average person who gets paid to clean makes. Not as much as the person who develops the scarce skills on figuring out how to build the business, find the clientele, get the bond, get the insurance, get the health, get all these different things to build the business that does the cleaning, right? Because there's a difference between cleaning and owning the business that does the cleaning. I got a buddy of mine, he owns a high-end cleaning business that goes in and cleans like biolabs, right? And he has people that work for him and he pays them, and then he makes money on top of that. And then sometimes if he's bored or if he's in between employees, he'll go do some of the cleaning himself. It's a different skill set, and it goes back to scarce skills. My buddy who has this business, he has scarce skills of how to start the business, how to market the business, how to get clients for the business, how to do all the bonding and all the insurance. Developing scarce skills, scarce meaning it's not common. Understanding how to run a business is not common. Okay, developing the scarce skills in the market is going to set you apart throughout this entire journey, because this is going to be a journey for a lot of us. Okay, so consider that. Consider the skills that you're developing. Now, career. Okay, earning more for scarce skills. Now, once you have these scarce skills, you can earn more for these scarce skills. What am I talking about? Initially, in my career, I worked at the YMCA as a recording engineer. This is early on in the process, right? I did some after school programs. I was able to make a little money because I had scarce skills as the program director. I got a promotion. I was making pretty good money fairly early, 19, 20 years old. Hours got cut. The economy took a hit. Then I was working at the YMCA. I was using my scarce skills as a recording engineer because I was a musician at a YMCA. Those hours got cut, okay? So I had to backtrack, and I said, okay, I got to step back, and I just went and got a job. Why? Why did I go get a job? I got a job working with adults while I was reducing my overhead to create stability for myself. I got a job working with adults with developmental disabilities. It was just a job. I just needed a job. It was a fun job. It was a fulfilling job. It did not have a ton of scarce skills, but I needed that so that I could keep working on my scarce skills, because the scarce skills of being a recording engineer wasn't as efficient. So I had to develop more scarce skills. The more when I developed more scarce skills, I was able to go earn more for my skill set. What am I talking about? I'm talking about learning how to do video, learning how to edit video, learning how to do photography, learning how to live stream. These were scarce skills in 2013 that I developed. Not because I went to college for them, not because of anything outside of just music and being tenacious that I learned these things. So guess what? I went from working adults with developmental disabilities to instantly doubling my income by implementing these scarce skills of video production, audio, live streaming, social media, understanding all these things that I was doing in my business and my side hustle, which was my career. I was able to transfer them and make more in the marketplace. Okay, again, we're talking decades. We're not talking months. We're not talking weeks. We're talking decades. So I then pivoted. I went from just having a Joe job to now I'm actually working at an organization making twice what I was my Joe job. It's because I developed more scarce skills. I kept developing more skills. And that I did that by skill stacking. Skill stacking is I know recording audio. I understand recording audio. I understand how to edit audio. I understand how to mix audio. I stacked that and I pivoted, and I then took the same skill set and I started doing video. They're very similar. Audio, video, very similar. If you can record audio, if you can make beats, you could edit video. This is more of a scarce skill because this isn't as needed. There's not a big need for producers right now. But I took this and I stacked it to video. Then I took video and I stacked it to live streaming and broadcasting. Okay, and I kept stacking these skills on top of each other. So I was earning more and I kept skill stacking. I kept learning more scarce skills. The side hustle then becomes a career. The side hustle then becomes a career. So I'm working with kids at an after-school program, making crappy money. I make a little bit more money working with adults with developmental disabilities. I thought I was gonna be able to do stuff with music and after-school programs. It didn't work out. Guess what? I pivoted over. I started taking the stuff I was doing on the side with music, like learning how to record, learning how to shoot my own videos. I worked on those skills. I then got a job at my church, instantly doubled my income because I was now the media guy overseeing everything. I had some leadership experience in doing the program directing. I was able to work with people, develop teams. And so now I'm making twice the amount of money, and it afforded me the opportunity to what? Communicate on Sunday mornings and help with the sermon team and help craft the messages and actually preach. Okay, so think about all that opportunity it created for me to go from here, working a Joe job, just trying to survive, to over here, working on actual usable, transferable skills. And then all of that culminated to me making my side hustle, which was music initially, to become my career. And I quit my job in 2015, went full-time with music, consistently have grossed 6 figures with music since 2015. And now we're talking multiple 6 figures. Now we're looking at M's prayerfully, God willing, in the next couple years. Okay. So the side hustle becomes a career. That's the trajectory. That was my trajectory. Hopefully this is something that you can extract some value from. If it is, please do give this video a like and make sure you are subscribed. 56% of the folks watching this are not subscribed. And if you want to go above and beyond, partner with what we're doing, consider becoming a Patreon. We do our group Zoom calls, uncensored group discussions in the Patreon on a regular basis. So check that out. All right. So let me know what y'all think.
Kingstream Entertainment. Ruslan.
And wishing well, still I wish him well. I tell him God bless. I really just wanna bless God, cause despite my own folly, he still brought me to the light. So if I'm living his way, I know that I'ma be alright, yeah. They told me God bless, I told them I wanna bless God.